Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I actually wanted to talk about a new interview with Andrew Lincoln that is actually going to be coming out, I believe, in 2 days from now, but they sort of gave a sneak peek, and I do believe I'm going to get this actual article here because, first of all, it's an interview with Andrew Lincoln, and he's talking about his time with The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, and The Walking Dead and all that, so who knows, like, there could be some talk about, like, will he come back and do something else sort of thing. And so I really am interested in what the article has to say. And again, I'll leave a link down below if you do want to go and check out the article here. It's with Empire, and they gave a little bit of a sneak peek here as to, I guess, just talking about the show in general, talking about certain moments. And what he talks about here is Glenn's death, and talking about it actually sort of, maybe they went a little too overboard with the moment there. So yeah, I want to break down his comments, give my thoughts on it and all that. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Comic-Con is in like, what is that, like 3 weeks from today, or 3 weeks from, I guess, in a couple of days. It's basically like 3 weeks from now roughly, and there's no news so far on like the Walking Dead's appearance there, but they will be there. They've never missed a year. I'd be so shocked if they actually missed a year, and usually they announce all their stuff like this week, or it's the week after anyways. It's never like a month or two beforehand, so just expect some new details right away on like the panel, like all the times and all of that. Whenever those new details do come out, I'll do a video breaking all of it down and talk about just sort of what to expect, because usually, like what we'll learn a lot from that, right? Like I am expecting for sure a Walking Dead Daryl Dixon panel, a Walking Dead Dead City panel, and then we'll see. Like, there might be something else for maybe another thing, but I'm assuming when it comes to spin-off announcements on, like, other shows or anything like that, like, they usually talk about that during the other panels, right? Like, with The Walking Dead, they would announce other spin-off news and all that during The Walking Dead's panels. So, yeah, I'm expecting 2 panels for sure, and it's gonna be a really big one this year because we're getting the official trailer for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2, finally, right? Like, we were expecting a trailer a month and a half ago. It went quiet for so long, and now we're getting it in a couple weeks. So, yeah, this month is going to be a very big month for The Walking Dead, so definitely make sure to subscribe if you want to get all of my Walking Dead content breaking down all the latest news. But let's actually get into what I wanted to talk about here regarding Andrew Lincoln's comments regarding Glenn's death. And this is what he had to say on like whether or not the moment was actually just a little too much for some people. And he says, "I do still think Glenn's death might have been when we over-egged the omelet. Maybe it was lingering too much." And then he says that it was the most intense nights of shooting I've ever been a part of, and that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet, was playing one of the most unpleasant characters. He had to do this extraordinary monologue on his first day at work, and everybody went on their knees and weeping when they weren't on camera. Jeffrey Dean Morgan came over and went, "Is this normal?" And I went, "Yeah, everybody just keeps going. It was an extraordinary night." And I found that really, really fascinating because I've heard him say something very similar to that before. And, I used to always sort of have the opinion of, well, I just think some people, like, to me, it depends on like what you're used to watching. Like, for me personally, I watch horror movies all the time. There's a lot of slashers I watch, just a lot of 80s and like 90s, 70s movies that just had a lot of insane moments that were worse than Glenn's death. Like if you just watch literally even just any Friday the 13th movie, I feel like there's moments in those movies that are worse than Glenn's death. I know Glenn's death, it's up there, definitely. But I'm so used to that. I grew up watching that. That was all I ever watched growing up, that, when Glenn's death happened, it meant a little bit more because of the character. Like, you really loved the character, and it was so insane to see a character just a character that was really like a part of your family, it felt like. Like the Walking Dead characters in general, because we watched them, every Sunday, that moment, it felt like it happened to like a family member almost. Like it felt so personal. But for me, I think what ruined it was the cliffhanger. I always say the cliffhanger to me is what made it really, really bad, and I think is what hurt the audience watching it. I think that if they killed off Glenn in that crazy way in the finale, and then it was just left on a really dark moment where Negan is maybe, just kind of like laughing or whatever, and him and the Saviors just like walk away, and then everyone is just like, sitting there on their knees and they're just like defeated. And I think if it just like cuts to black at that point, and then we're all just like, whoa, what did we just watch? Then you have the whole summer to sort of just like gather your thoughts and all of that. And then when the show comes back, you can sort of see how everyone's feeling about everything. And then, yes, it's going to feel very down for a while because they just went through a crazy moment, but you're not going to feel so down, right? Like, I think having the cliffhanger there, as much as it's going to frustrate a lot of people, you start off the season in such a crazy, depressing way that that's going to carry over to episode 2 and then episode 3. And I think that's where people just were like, I can't watch it anymore. So I don't necessarily blame it on what happened with Glenn. Like, yes, that was really insane, but I think it was the cliffhanger and a combination of a lot of things that happened there that I think if they just played out the moment like it happens in the comic, and you had that 6-7 month break or whatever between season 6 and 7, and then season 7 starts and you just have Rick and everyone, back in Alexandria and just trying to recover and figuring out what to do, living life with the saviors now, and then also shorten that arc as well, because I feel like they really stretched out March to War and All Out War. It was literally all of season 7 and season 8. I think they should have shortened it a lot, where maybe the war was starting into season 7's second half, and then season 8 was like maybe the first part of the war. Like, again, I just think a lot of the build up to the actual war took way too long. I think that it should have only been like half a season, and then they actually went to war, and maybe that lasted like 16 episodes, right? Like maybe that's from season 9 episode, or season 7 episode 9 all the way to season 8 episode 8. Like something like that, basically. And then the second half of season 8, maybe you tell that a little bit differently. There's a little bit more of a different story there. And somehow you sort of line up some of the story there with, the A New Beginning arc and the Whisperers and whatnot. I think there was a way better way to shorten a lot of that story and tell it way better. But again, that's sort of looking back at it now, that's so easy to say, right? But I do think the cliffhanger was still a bad choice. Like overall, when you're looking at everything, the easiest thing that they could have done that I feel like was probably really debated, like I would be surprised if Gimple was like, yeah, we're going to do a cliffhanger here. We're not going to show who actually dies here in this scene. Like I feel like people at AMC or I don't know who are going to be like, no, don't do that kind of thing, right? Like people are going to be so upset about that. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. But to me, the cliffhanger was the easiest thing to say no, because I think it was way more obvious to be like, no, we're not going to do that. But again, I think back then they were really chasing the ratings quite a bit. Like the ratings were crazy for The Walking Dead. And I think by the time season 6 came around, they were starting to decline a lot because the show really got big in season 5, especially towards the end of season 4. And I remember the excitement. There's so many people watched the show. And I think by the time season 6 came around, getting towards the end of that, it was starting to drop quite a bit. And I think the cliffhanger was just something that obviously would create a lot of talk. And I think the ratings for the season 7 premiere were like really incredible. I'm pretty sure the show around that point, like the ratings just got so insane. So to me, that's the real reason why, there was an issue here. And so Andrew Lincoln saying, like, I think that was a little overboard. I don't really see it like that. Honestly, like I'm very happy that they did the comic story right. If anything, killing off Abraham was probably, I think, the worst decision there. Like, again, I think that was a result of the cliffhanger because you did that cliffhanger. Everyone knows what to expect in the premiere. They all know Glenn's going to die because it happens in the comic. Well, how do you make it more surprising? Oh, you kill 2 characters. Like, so I think that was probably the worst thing that they did there was killing Abraham as well, because he would have been a really amazing character in the All Out War arc. Oh man, just such a missed opportunity there. So to me, I think that for them, I don't know if they're necessarily going to say that. And it also depends on just like what you watch. Because for me, again, I've watched like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, like all the movies. Those are like the main ones that everyone talks about. But I've watched so many horror movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, I'm just so immune to a lot of that I think that, for people who watch this as a drama, because there's a lot of people that watch The Walking Dead because it's more of a drama and you're watching it for the characters. And yes, there's zombies around and it's kind of cool, but it's more of a drama, sort of like soap opera kind of thing, right? And so once you start to get into that horror aspect, and they really went into it in that episode, I think for a lot of people, they were just like, I can't anymore. And so to me, I think some people were probably going to stop watching, but the cliffhanger, I just always say, was probably the worst part about it. Because if they never did that, we could have had the whole summer to just like, just relax a little from that scene, and then we watch the season 7 premiere, and then everything just feels a little bit better, right? So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all of my Walking Dead content. There's gonna be a lot this month. I'm really excited for Comic-Con. I really am so excited for Comic-Con this year because there's a lot, like, it's been so so quiet the last couple of months. Like if you think about it, The Ones Who Live ended on March 31st or 30th, 31st, around there. So like all of April, all of May, all of June, like 3 full months of like not a lot of Walking Dead news. Like there was stuff here and there, but it's been very, very quiet for a while. And so I'm excited for July because obviously this month is Comic-Con. There's going to be some really big announcements and a lot of stuff coming out. And you know, Daryl Dixon's not coming out next month in August, but the month after. So the promotion's going to ramp up quite a bit. And the break between Daryl Dixon and Dead City is also not going to be that crazy as well. So I'm excited about that because I mean, Daryl Dixon's going to end at some point in November, early to mid-November. Then we have the Christmas break in December, January, and I'm assuming Dead City will be back in February, right? Which at that point there might be some promotion in like January and all of that. So, you know, and that'll carry us into like what, early April or something like that again. And then we'll have the whole summer again where it'll be like nothing to talk about in April, May, or June. I'm not used to this because this used to happen before, like a couple of years ago. Well, actually more than that. It used to just be like that where there wasn't really anything to talk about. You know, like when The Walking Dead was on, there just wasn't anything to talk about in the summer. Like, yes, Fear the Walking Dead would air, but I would never review it. I never talked about it really ever. So it's been a while, but honestly, I'm very excited. I can't wait for Comic-Con. I'm so excited. I think it's in like 24 days from now, but we'll have to wait and see on the actual date, which we should get some new details on that very soon. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.